Jordan Love has a torn ligament in his non-throwing hand, will have thumb surgery, and McLaurin spotted at practice talking to Adam Peters. Is there movement there? James Cook is at practice, but is he really practicing? And is he still expecting 15 plus million per year? We're going to break down the Packers, how it all impacts the players, the receiving room, the running attack. What do we think about Green Bay? You know my thoughts on Green Bay. We'll break it all down. The Fantasy Football Show, ladies and gentlemen, the We Go Live Whenever News Break Show. We're live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern every single day show. And we go live at midnight Eastern almost every single day show. That show begins right now. File on in.
FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show.
Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
So keep in mind, your boy has been pretty down on the Packers all offseason. You can come in here and say, but Smitty, Smitty, Matthew Golden's the man. Smitty, Jordan Love is going to bounce back. Smitty, Jordan Love was hurt last year. Smitty, Josh Jacobs, how could you not like him? It's crazy not to like him. We called Josh Jacobs. We told people to draft Josh Jacobs last year. People won leagues because of Josh Jacobs on this channel.
Let him cook.
So don't come in here and tell me about how I need to look at Josh Jacobs. That's number one. Number two, it's one of those things where it's like it's one thing after another with Jordan Love, over and over and over, and you can continue to make excuses and you can say things like, "Oh, but Smitty, it's his non-throwing hand," or "Oh, Smitty, they finally drafted a wide receiver, but you're trusting a team that hasn't done it in decades to draft the right wide receiver." That's like saying, okay, we're trusting someone to go throw darts on a dartboard after 20 years of not doing it and saying they're going to hit a bullseye. They know what they're doing. They clearly don't know what they're doing. They're rookies in terms of the Green Bay Packers are a rookie organization in terms of drafting a wide receiver in round one. And they drafted a wide receiver that I identified as very overvalued and not a first round grade wide receiver. This is just a messy situation for me. It reeks of disappointment. Jordan Love is not the player I think people want him to be. There was a time where we liked him. There was a time in fantasy 2 years ago where he got cut and we said keep the faith, pick him up, and he actually played pretty well. But we stay loose, we stay liquid, we stay ever flowing here. We adjust and adapt. And I'm telling you right now, this is a very this situation smells pretty funny. Not specifically his thumb. It's his non-throwing thumb. But Jordan Love can't stay healthy. I think that we're looking at a disappointing year. And for this team, play calling, coaching, Jordan Love, all are to blame. Not using Jaden Reed, one of the league's most intriguing weapons. He's a weapon. To not use this intriguing weapon the way that they didn't use him, failed to use him, talk up, we need to draft a wide receiver. Do you? I mean, you do and you don't. You didn't need to draft Golden so early, and you actually have a wide receiver one on the roster. You just didn't know how to use him. You didn't feed the man. Jaden Reed's a really good receiver. I wish he gets traded somewhere. Really do. So anyway, we'll see how this develops. Right now, he's expected to play week one. It's his non-throwing hand, so he probably should be able to play week one, but he did have the procedure. And the only thing I would say that the negative part, because you're going to say, hey, he'll be back. He's going to be, limited. He's not going to be able to do some things. And so that's going to potentially get the offense out of tune. There might be some bumps in the road initially. And this is just a situation that it's not that I think Jordan Love's a total bust. I just don't think, as I worded just a minute ago, I don't think he'll be the person, the player that people want him to be. Big difference between saying he's garbage or that he's a bust. I'm not saying that. I didn't say that at all. I'm saying he's not going to be the player, Jordan Love, play at the level that people want him to play at. I think Matthew Golden will not be a bust, but he will not be the player that people want him to be, that they expect him to be, that they've been promised that he would be, given he's a first-round pick. And he's got to be a fantastic player, right? The Packers took him in round 1. They don't take wide receivers in round 1. He must be good. That's not how that works. The team that doesn't take wide receivers is not the best judge of character in terms of fantasy football value. I mean, he's a good character guy. I just mean they're not the best judges of whether he fits the bill for being a wide receiver 1. Now, a lot of Golden owners, Matthew Golden's going to be a stud, says Smooth, and I appreciate you, Smooth. I'm not mad at you. We can have different opinions too, but these comments are coming from people that own Matthew Golden. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand that. This is like the Amazon review example. You're going to see that Amazon review. It's like, this is the best product ever. And you're like, okay, that helps me. And then you see, and you know, I might be the Amazon reviewer right now that says this extension cord caught my garage on fire. And then you're like, hell no, I'm out. Just that one comment. It is what it is. You got to make your own determination. I just think what it comes down to for me is, again, not that Jordan Love's a bust, but he will disappoint, I believe, at the expectation level. It's not about him busting. It's about liking another player next to him better. Give me Bo Nix. Give me Michael Penix Jr. Penix Jr. is so much more, upside. I'm gonna put a. Let's move this over so we can open alligator on the Penix. Open alligator on the Penix. The Penix is bringing the thunder. The big Penix energy. Give me this side all day long. I don't understand what's so difficult about it being more about liking other player values better. Drop any emoji that represents that you're on Team Penix or Team Jordan Love. You choose the emoji that you feel is fitting. As for Cook, and this is the report right here. It's all over the place, obviously, and it's again not a big injury in terms of throwing the ball in week 1 because it's the non-throwing hand. It's just a matter of getting out of the groove and all that. Packers QB Jordan Love will undergo procedure on his left thumb. Not expected to miss week 1, but not expected to miss week 1 is the call. We still have to wait and see. Who knows? But probably be okay for week 1. Just what will the team play like? Terry McLaurin seen talking to GM Adam Peters today for the first time since his trade demands. This says, could a trade be on the way, or could a contract be on the way? We'll see. I highly doubt they're trading him. I think this should say is a contract on the way, not a trade. I don't agree with this necessarily, this write-up. The Commanders made it very clear they're not trading him. Why do I know that? Because Keenan Allen, I believe, is a telegraph that this team is not moving on. Now, could the relationship get worse? Could they say we didn't want to trade him, but now we will? Yeah, but the timing of Keenan Allen waiting, the trade demand request came in from McLaurin, and about a day or two, I believe it was, went by, and then all of a sudden, Keenan Allen shows up in LAC, and then he signs. Why do you think that is? The Commanders, who would very much want to have Keenan Allen if they were going to, send Terry McLaurin elsewhere. Keenan Allen's the best wide receiver on the market. So you tell me how do you connect the dots? To me, this is how it went. Hey, this is Keenan Allen. Can I talk to Adam Peters? Hey, Adam Peters, do you have room for me on the bus? And Adam Peters goes, we're not trading McLaurin. Okay, I'll go to LAC. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. That's how that went. That's how I believe that went. Now, could things go awry again? Yes, they could. How is Love always hurt? Because he's injury prone. And that's part of why this smells funny. You can keep defending him all you want, but he's always getting hurt. He's always banging his hand on something too. So, you know, think what you want on it. It's just what are you gonna do? Choose Bo Nix or Jordan Love, Penix Jr., Jordan Love, Justin Fields or Jordan Love, even Kyler Murray over Jordan. I don't care if Kyler Murray threw an interception the other day. He's better than Jordan Love from fantasy perspective. Now, if you like Jordan Love for Matthew Golden, for Josh Jacobs, do you? That's fine. As long as you're not expecting Jordan Love to outperform Penix Jr. in fantasy football value, I just want to make sure you're thinking straight. Scary Terry, again, I don't think the Commanders have any interest in trading him. What are the pros of trading him? A pick, second round. Let's just say it was I'm not saying they get a second rounder. Let's just say it was a second rounder. This is for the future. This is not for the now. What is the pro for 2025 Super Bowl run? Because that's where the Commanders are headed. They're trying to, whether you believe it or not, they're trying to head to the Super Bowl. That is the goal. That's the goal for them, and they have a team that can do it. What's the pro? There is no pro. There's only cons. Cons are they're a lesser team. They are less than they are now if they trade McLaurin away, even if they get a second round, even if they got more than that. If it was just a bunch of picks, whatever, let's just pretend we're living in a fairy tale world and they get more than a second rounder, which they're not going to get. But if they did in a fairy tale setting, they still are a lesser team this year. They don't want that. Even if McLaurin were to sit, and he's not going to, let me make that abundantly clear. But if we were in fairy tale world and he sat a couple games to try and, call the Commanders' bluff, they're better off with McLaurin missing 2 games, 3 games. And again, he's not going to sit out, but they're better off missing 2 or 3 games with McLaurin and still having him for their Super Bowl run. What if injury risk is entered into the equation because he's holding out? Well, what's the pro of trading him? You get rid of injury risk? Who cares? What's the con? He has injury risk, but guess what? He still plays. Even if he misses 4 games, 5 games, or he just has more injury risk, but a chance of not getting injured, that is a reason not to trade him. The Commanders are far better off with McLaurin, no matter what kind of bluff they've got to call. And at the end of the day, what is this about? Do you think that a 30-year-old wide receiver is walking into the season without his contract and is going to bank on himself and play? Absolutely not. I told you from the jump that it's his agent that feels a little bit more in the reasons as to why this isn't getting done. Let me take care of this. McLaurin's letting his agent do the work. We've seen this before where an agent gets fired later. I'm not saying that will happen here. I'm just telling you that McLaurin is confused. This is not a Washington Commander. Blame them. I said this from the jump. People came for my neck initially. Now you start to hear people say McLaurin's being a little unreasonable. McLaurin wants to, quote unquote, tax the organization, according to Diana Rossini and other people, tax the organization for the sins of the past. You didn't pay me. I sat here wasting away. No one got me a quarterback. You know it was better than that. This is new ownership. They're not obligated to pay the debts of the past from the Washington Commander previous ownership and regime. He's delusional if he thinks he's out there getting Garrett Wilson guaranteed money. He's delusional if he thinks that Cortland Sutton can sign a $23 million per year deal at the same age with the same production. Both of them are the team's considered number 1 wide receiver. It's the exact same replica of a player, plays different style, but these are 2 players that are one and the same in terms of that comparative value, the appraisal of a home next to a house that might be built slightly different, same amount of room, same amount of square footage, same area, just a different street over. That's what McLaurin and Sutton are. Now you can say, well, okay, but Sutton screwed himself and took a little under. Sure. 23 mil a year was what Sutton did times 3. What was it? Was it 41 guaranteed, I think? 41 guaranteed. Okay. So he screwed himself a little bit. The Commanders probably offered Scary Terry 25 to 27. And this was probably 45, maybe 50. And they're probably saying to McLaurin, hey, buddy boy, we could go ahead and rescind this offer and give you what Sutton got if you want. At some point, I almost can guarantee this. I can't guarantee anything. Injuries, you would have come to me and said during the pandemic that the NCAA would cancel their money-making tournament. I would have said, you're crazy. Anything can happen. That one event proves that anything can happen. Let me just tell you that. That was wild. That was such a wild time. Imagining that, I never would have imagined something would have. It's crazy. $25 million per year times 3, 4. Let's say this is what the offer is. Let's say the Commanders aren't budging, and people do say, Commanders, you're going a little low there. This is scary, Terry. Pay it. You just pay them. People would march all over the place saying this. We got Acho type analysis and talking heads all over ESPN and doing commentating and just, Mickey Mouse content out there going, just pay them. Just pay them. I mean, they should just pay them. I mean, they're trying to win a Super Bowl. They should just pay them, as if it's that simple. Just pay them, okay? Okay, you just hand him a blank check, tell him to write whatever he wants, sign that blank check and hand it to him. It's a business. This is a business. And guess what? He has no leverage other than to make things uncomfortable. So he's doing that now. He's causing a little bit of a rift. There's not as much camaraderie. There's not as much rapport of all the pieces put together between Debo and McLaurin on the field at the same time. The rhythm, that rapport. Of course, he's got rapport with JD5, but rapport with the new offense that has potentially Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt, Bill, a.k.a. Little Bill, a.k.a. JCM. Potentially the future starting running back of the Washington Commanders. Maybe it ends up being ETN. Maybe it ends up being Walker. McLaurin, I was trying to tell you, I can almost guarantee that he takes their highest offer. He's just pushing it as far as he can. Why do I know he's going to take the highest offer? He cannot bank on himself. If they say, Terry, we're taking this away in 2 days. You have 2 days to sign this deal. If you don't want it, we're taking it off the table. Obviously, we want you to play for us. So when you're ready, come back to practice and get on the field, and then we'll address it in the offseason. And that's going to scare the shit out of him. He might piss his pants right there. And hopefully he brings his uniform, because then he can change into that and get onto the field. But they literally will walk up to him and say, look, enough's enough. We're a business. This is not the 49ers. Okay, where you can just do what Ayuk did to the Niners and they just fold and crumble. No, Adam Peters knows what he's doing. Adam Peters will, and maybe that's the conversation he had with him. You got 2 days. You got 2 days to accept it. If you don't accept it, we're not trading you. You can hold out. You can miss game checks, and you'll be even further off where you don't want to be financially. Or you can accept our highest offer, get paid more than you've ever seen in your life, feel disrespected a little bit, whatever. I'm sorry. We'll throw in 2 incentives for you. 2 incentives. We make the Super Bowl, $500K. You catch 12 touchdowns, $500K. They might throw a couple incentives in there. That's how you fix this type of stuff. That's how you close that gap. And you also give a player like this that's about to fold a reason to save face and go, okay, you're going to throw in $500K if I score 19 touchdowns. That's what I'm talking about. That's all I've been waiting for. That's all I wanted. That you got to do that. You got to offer up something, even if it's a layup, and say, here, Terry, let's do this. Does that make it better? Terry's like, yeah, that's what I wanted. And Terry comes to the table. There's almost zero chance, almost zero chance that he banks on himself and the Commanders are not going to be pushed around. Adam Peters knows what he's doing. This is arguably, you got Philly, I get it, the best or second best GM or tied for the first best GM in the National Football League. He ain't screwing around. Adam Peters knows what he's doing. And for anybody that's doubted him and said the Commanders are dropping the ball here, no, it's McLaurin. And it might even not be McLaurin. It might be McLaurin's trust in his agent who's misguiding him and telling him who gets paid based on how much he brings in, mind you. We can get more. We can get more. McLaurin's getting fed the wrong info. You are a 30-year-old wide receiver, son. You're a 30-year-old wide receiver. You are not getting paid what Garrett Wilson gets paid. Take it and be happy, because this is a very nice deal. Even if this is 27 and this is 48 or 47 guaranteed, that is a very nice deal for a 30-year-old player. And he'll take it. He'll take it. Believe me, he's just waiting. This news here, James Cook. I know it's very easy to think that Cook is back. But one thing I want to remind you about James Cook, and let me put James Cook's graphic on screen. James Cook was going to hold out, if you remember. And then James Cook decided to come back, if you remember. And then he started to kind of hold in, if you remember. So he's bounced all over the place. He's taking these, when you go to the car dealer and you say, I want it for this, I want it, and then they go, sign right here. And I always tell them, I'm so good at buying a car. When you go in, and I tell the guy, I go, if you walk up to me with that piece of paper, I tell them this, and you say, sign right here for the, $529 a month, when I'm literally know I'm going to get something in like the 300 even or 280 range because of trade-in, and they come up to me, I say, if you walk up to me with a number on a piece of paper that is over $300, I'm going to stand up and walk out the door. And when they do it, I'm a man of my word. I stand up and I walk out the door. And then they either call and beg and give me something over text, or I never return to that dealership. But occasionally when you're buying a car and they're giving you a number you kind of want, but you're trying to get a little bit more, and you go, yep, I'm not going to do it. And you get up, you walk to your car, and you're like, call me back. Call me back, because I want that deal. Call me back. I want that deal, or we were close. And they say, hey. And then you turn around, and you're like, you got him. This is what Cook's doing. He's getting on the field. He's pretending, he's pretending he wants to play. Then he does some other maneuver, like he holds in. Or he shows up, then he holds in. He was going to hold out. He's just trying to be around so that he gets, the conversation brewing and started. He's not going to actually walk off the lot. This is the same thing. He's pretending he's walking away. He's pretending he's busy. And he's out there right now. Everyone says he's back. He's not back. I would say, this is coming from Sean McDermott, I would say that things have changed. And yes, we have good conversations with James. Good conversations that I've mentioned before. The information that we're getting is that he's moving towards practicing. So he's out there warming up. He's out there doing drills. He's not practicing. He's not actually a part of the official, momentum of this team getting ready for week number 1. So this is his baby step of kind of not going to the car, turning the ignition on and driving off the lot. He's trying to bait this team into saying, hey, come over here. We got a contract for you. He too will not take this to the extreme. He's already folded by showing up, and he's trying to show good faith, you could say, at the same time. It's not all folding, but this guy wants $15 million plus per year. He's nowhere near worth that. Might he get 12? And I would say that the Bills screwed up doing that. Yes, he could. But you got to remember that Davis, this monster known as Ray Davis, one of our favorite deep stash, we got him on the midseason monster list. You got to understand that this team loves Ray Davis. We love Ray Davis. And this might be hard to hear for a James Cook owner, because you own him. You own him, and you're gonna fight me on this, and that's fine. I don't care. You can call in and talk about it if you want to just get it off your chest, if it makes you feel better. But it doesn't change my mind. This guy is a better between the tackle running back than James Cook. I don't care what anybody says. Now, is he maybe an overall well-polished and ready and, can read defenses and understand where he needs to go a little bit more than Davis because he's got more experience? Maybe, sure. But this is a shifty, lateral, power nose for the end zone as much as Cook. Even though Cook had 17 touchdowns, you could say, Smitty, how do you not have a nose for the end zone? He was very lucky to be in the scenario he was in. Let me put this as blunt as I can. If Davis got all of the carries that Cook got last year, he'd have 1,200 yards instead of his 1,009 yards. 1,009. He would have had 1,200 yards, and he would have just as many TDs, if not maybe a couple more. This is a more capable running back. Just because he's good doesn't mean he can't be better. The two things can coexist. And if Ray Davis gets into the lineup, Ray Davis is going to explode. The Buffalo Bills know how good he is. James Cook, they like him. They know how good James Cook is. Josh Allen likes James Cook. But keep in mind, Josh Allen talks up everybody. You could say, hey, Josh, what's your practice squad running back looking like? Oh, I love him. You get him on the field and it's over. Like, Josh will talk up everybody. Remember when last year they asked Josh who his number one wide receiver was? Everybody puckered up, sat up straight in their chair, and was hoping to hear a name that sounds like Keon Coleman. And what did he say? He said, what's the guy that doesn't wear shoes? What's his damn name? he called him his best wide receiver. And we're like, what? Not Shakir? Not Keon Coleman? It's the man that doesn't wear shoes? That is your best wide receiver, your leader of the locker room? Mac Hollins. And thank you. I mean, come on. What are we talking about here? So you can't trust anything that comes out of Josh Allen's mouth in terms of, pumping up his guys. But let me just tell you, this guy right here is the better running back. This guy right here has zero risk. Davis is the one you grab, standalone value, and you ignore James Cook's third round ADP and you run to another player. You have no business drafting James Cook in the third round when you have such a eclectic group of RBs that are sitting there, wide receivers, quarterbacks, JD5, Josh Allen. Are you going to draft this man over Josh Allen himself? Because that's where his ADP lingers. What a dumb move. Hi, I'm on the clock. My name's Steve. I'm going to go ahead and take James Cook instead of Josh Allen because I heard waiting on a quarterback's good. Yeah, it might be. Not when Josh Allen's on the clock, on the board, sitting there, and the best option you have at RB in your mind is James Cook, who's holding in, whose injury risk is through the roof. Even if he returns today to full practice, he's out there running very gingerly, which is good. He's trying not to get injured, but he's not ready. He's not even close to ready. And if he did get thrown to the wolves today, he'd get injured. And maybe he works himself up slowly, but is he going to be in a rhythm? Is he going to be off kilter? Is this man who had 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 receiving touchdowns last year as a rookie, not even starting, going to take some of this guy's workload from the jump? And if he does, he's going to look more effective. He's going to look dangerous. And then he's going to start looking over his shoulder. Now, if they pay him $12 million a year, you can bet your bottom dollar that if they do work out a deal before the season starts, he's a little more secure. He's a little bit more secure because they committed a ton of money to him. So money can talk. Money can make decisions look strange and make coaches and teams and organizations make bad commitments to a player look, i.e., there isn't a better example in the history of the last 5 years than the Falcons hanging on to Kirk Cousins in the lineup because they paid him $100+ million guaranteed. That was the definition of just letting money make your decision. We got to give him a longer amount of time. The guy went 4 straight games without a passing touchdown, and then on his 5th game, he scores 1, and then they bench him. 1 touchdown in 5 games, and it took them forever to sit the man. Ray Davis is going to be amazing.
Mashed potatoes!
All right, let's open the phone lines. James Cook, McLaurin, Ray Davis, Jordan Love. You can complain about how I don't give your boy, for all you that own him in 5-6 leagues, Matthew Golden. You can call in and talk about that if you'd like, about how good he is. And look, you know who's good? Jayden Reed. You know who looked good like you think Matthew Golden looks good? Jayden Reed. But they just don't use Jayden Reed. They didn't use Dobbs. They didn't use Christian Watson right. Christian Watson couldn't stay healthy. But this is a team that they don't play call and in conjunction with Love's play in his decision-making and choices. It doesn't bode well for oversaturation of one player. It's a spread it around situation. And a lot of these times when you have enough sample, it's almost a guarantee that you're heading that direction again, because that's what happens. That's the formula. You can't make, blueberry pancakes with a recipe that's for chocolate chip pancakes. That's what you have going on here. You have a quarterback, a play calling situation, and a coaching staff that is not conducive to laser locking on a player. You don't have the recipe for it. So you can think all you want that Matthew Golden's going to explode, but keep in mind that Jayden Reed, and they could just be double talking him, obviously. But Jayden Reed went into his coach's offense and said, "Am I the number one?" And his coach said, "Of course you are. Yes, you are a number one receiver." And it's sad that Reed even believed him, because all that went on during the NFL draft was a spectacle about how we finally got somebody. And Reed's going, "Excuse me, I'm sitting right here. You're insulting my intelligence. You're insulting my feelings. You're making me feel pretty upset right now." George is getting angry because he's sitting here being told they're just walking right by him. I bet they stood over him, bumped him out of the way, and go, "We got him. We got our number one wide receiver." And this guy Reed's going, I'm the number one wide receiver. And he is. Reed is better than Matthew Golden by a country mile. So if Reed can't do it, then what happens? Let me go over to BBQ. BBQ, you're live. How was your run? Do I not have audio? Hold on, BBQ. Hold on. Let me just get my audio cooking here. BBQ, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There you are. What is up, my boy?
Hey, so I didn't catch the first part of your show, but I just wanted to say, as far as Cook and McLaurin goes, both suffering from touchdown delusion syndrome, I agree with you 100%. I mean, you could plug Ray Davis in, and he's probably 95% of what James Cook did last year. Will score all those touchdowns. I mean, James Cook's stats are the same. It's just like Terry McLaurin. Same yardage, same attempts. Only difference is the spike in touchdowns. And at ADP value, there's no way I'm drafting James Cook over pretty much everybody in that range.
I mean, you don't even have to look at the position. You could go cross position and just say, well, give me Hendy the next round. Hendy, and first of all, I would draft Hendy over James Cook every time. I am drafting him over him, but it's the tricky, scenario where it's like you're waiting around to do it. So in round number 3, and even if James Cook fell to 4, I'm physically taking Hendy over James Cook. But if James Cook is going 3, and I'm going to neglect running back here and address it in round 4 and get the guy I'd rather have straight up, Hendy, then I get now JD5 on my roster. Which is unbelievable that anybody would even consider passing on Josh Allen, JD5, and you could say, "Oh, I don't go early quarterback. I don't go early You don't have to go early quarterback. You don't have to if you don't want to, but there's no blanket statement. You go early quarterback or you don't go early quarterback. You have to decide for yourself when on the clock what pieces are there. I pass on Josh Allen and JD5 all the time because Hampton's there. Because, Kyron falls. Maybe you're going Kittle or whatever the case may be. And you say to yourself, you make a judgment call at these checkpoints in the draft. 3rd round's JD5, Josh Allen. Okay, time to make a decision. Am I going this way or this way? Hampton's there. Screw this. I'm going Hampton. Bye, JD5. Bye, Josh Allen. I love you guys, but Joe Burrow's in the next round. I'm going to go have a conversation with him. You get to round 4. Oh, my God. Rashee Rice is there, or whoever your guy is in round 4. It's like, Joe Burrow, it's been real. I'll see you in the next draft. We'll hook up. Don't worry. We'll cross streams in the next draft. Don't worry. And you get to the next round, and then it's Mahomes, and you just keep going. That's how you decide whether you go early quarterback. It's not a predetermined, I walk into my draft and I'm not going early quarterback, or I walk into my draft and I'm going early quarterback. It's a case-by-case type of basis. But when you're talking about James Cook being that player that you're considering over Hampton, over Kyron, over JD5, over Josh Allen, over Garrett Wilson, over MHJ, I mean, that's madness to me. Absolute madness. Now, if let's say he fell a lot further, then we would reassess it like anything. Maybe it's still the same answer. Maybe it's a little bit less aggressive. And then he falls a little bit more. And then we go, okay, now it feels like even Steven, you like this guy, I like that guy, and I understand. But in the third round, we're not even Steven. In the third round, we're punting our season away. This is a guy that barely had 1,000 yards. He had 1,009 yards. Ray Davis had 6 total touchdowns, and he didn't even play like James. He did the start. He wasn't a starter, and he had 6 touchdowns. Puka Nacua, I keep using this poor Puka catches strays all the time. Puka Nacua has played 28 games in the NFL. On his entire career, Puka Nacua has got 9 touchdowns. Total. 9 total on 28 games. Ray Davis got 6, not even starting last year as a rookie. So this offense is why James Cook is good. It's not really. James Cook's a good player. Everyone in the league's a good player. It's not, except for Jimmy G. Everyone in the league is a good player, except for Jimmy G. Ray Davis and Cook, either one of them would be very productive. But when push comes to shove, one is more powerful than the other. James Cook's elusive. He's really good. And 2 things can be correct at the same time. They both are good. This is kind of like my Dak Prescott Milton conversation. People are like, you're so high on Milton, I thought you liked Dak. What makes you think I can't like both of them? What makes you think that because I love Milton more than Dak, that I don't still think Dak can be a top 6, 7 quarterback this year? Like, why is everything got to be black and white? There's so much gray area. And with Cook and Davis, there's gray area. But the point is, he's not so valuable. This team shouldn't be saying, see you later, or do what you got to do. When you come back, you're in a committee, But the thing is, if they pay him, he won't be in a committee. Because like I said with the Kirk Cousins and Penix Jr. thing, money talks, man. It makes people make decisions. It makes owners say, you keep him in there. We're paying this guy $12 million a year, and he's not getting that. He might get 12, but he's not getting the 15. I'll tell you that right now. Go ahead, BBQ, real quick. Then I'll swing over to Ron, who's on the line too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Ray Davis, when he started, man, he just popped off the screen. I mean, he was. I mean, I saw him, and I'm like, man, that guy. You just plug him in. I was impressed. And the Bills have like a top 5 blocking, unit, and they've got Josh Allen opening up lanes. So. Yeah, and Ray Davis is going in what round? I mean, there's the value. I'll take Ray Davis all day long, just knowing that I think he's a better fit actually for the Bills. And I like Cook. I don't have anything against him, but not in the 3rd round, not in the 4th round. We're taking him in the 5th round.
There's nothing wrong with James Cook. Again, just to preface that it's, for anybody thinking this is like an anti-Cook take, it's not. Cook's a good player. He's a really elusive runner. But I liken Judkins to him because I think they're both good, but neither one is an elite player. They're just really good in their system. And some players are like that. And just to be completely fair and attack this in a very, even keel and honest way, like Arian Foster was one of the best running backs in fantasy football history. But that was one of my biggest calls on CBS Sports Radio. When he was a 7th rounder, said he'd be a top 5 running back. So I got a clip of that we play a lot on here. But it's like Arian Foster is going to be a top 5 running. It's a CBS clip. It's kind of where I really made the bold prediction thing kind of big was on Arian Foster and LaShawn McCoy, because McCoy was a 6th-round pick his rookie year. Arian Foster his second year. Actually, I think they're both going into their second year. I forget exactly, but it was that 2008 or 2005. I'm blanking. So long ago. But Arian Foster, point is, Arian Foster was not the best running back in the league. Not even close. He was a good player, but if you put James Cook in that system, if you put James Cook in the KC system when Priest Holmes was the best running back in fantasy football, Cook would ball out. Ray Davis would ball out. So Cook is a product of this environment. Without the Buffalo Bills system, he would be different. Foster was unbelievable, but it was part Foster and it was part system. Same thing with Priest Holmes. Like Falk, Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson, those were elite players with elite systems. Arian Foster was a really good player, not Marshall Falk level, but a really good player in an elite environment. Priest Holmes was really good, but he was not Marshall Falk or Barry Sanders in talent. Emmitt Smith was never as good as Barry Sanders. Emmitt Smith was attached, and you can't separate situation from player. Emmitt Smith was attached to one of the best situations a running back could be attached to. And he was good. He was really good. Barry Sanders was twice the running back Emmitt Smith was. But their stats were very, comparable, and people would debate it every year. That's my point between Cook and Davis. Is not to, like BBQ just said, not to say Cook isn't good. 2024, the man ran 207 times. That's not even, a ton. 1,009 yards. Granted, he had 4.9 a carry. In the 16 touchdowns, 16, he had 18 total. I said 17, 18 total. So the 4.9, the one thing you could say, though, is like he did good. If you gave him more work, he'd have more yards. But this system, the way Josh Allen vultures, this is an anomaly touchdown year for him, because look at the year prior, look at the year prior to that. This guy hadn't run for as many touchdowns as Ray Davis did last year as rookie year, 3. James Cook ran for 2 and 2. This is an anomaly. His yards went down from 1122 to 1009. His carries went down from 237 to 207. His reception totals went down from 44 to 32. His receiving yards went down from 445 to 258. His receiving TDs went down from 4 to 2. Everything about James Cook's 2024 season was a downgrade except for the anomaly touchdowns. So that's why it's important to really understand where he really fits in, and that it's really the player at the moment in the system that's going to benefit, and it doesn't really matter who it is. How do you rank DJ Moore, DK Sutton, and T-Mac in a redraft setting? Because you didn't say dynasty, I would say I want to say DK. I have some reservations about Aaron Rodgers slowing the offense down, but I do think because he made 2 top 10 wide receivers still, even with that kind of, slowed down offensive attack, I mean, I think DK will be the best of these two. I think after that, Sutton gets mad disrespected, especially by me each year. So I don't know. I would think Sutton would be second or tied with DJ Moore. T-Mac is right behind those guys, but you would draft him in round 5 or 6 versus maybe some of these guys are more like 4 or 5. So there's a little bit of a difference there. But T-Mac for the future obviously might have more appeal. Hold Tank Bigsby or Brashard Smith, higher upside. I think you kind of got to go in the direction of Bigsby for now. I know ETN got starter work in the preseason game, but what's more important, a preseason game where they're maybe showcasing him to trade him, or talk of camp? The running game runs through Bigsby the entire camp. I don't know what's going on with this. It does kind of seem like they're trying to trade him, and there's been talk about them trading him all offseason. And the important note is that the Jaguars have never shot it down publicly. So you got to wonder if there's truth where there's fire where there's a little bit of smoke, or smoke where there's fire. Either one. Hold Tank Bigsby, yeah. So, but I love Brashard Smith. My answer would be cut your kicker, unless you've got Little. If you got Little, don't cut Little. Little might be going to the moon. But I would cut my kicker and maybe hold both of them for as long as you can. Buy yourself some time. Drafted yesterday, Lamb Neighbors, Kenneth Walker, Josh Allen, Montgomery, Pollard, Igbuka, Tyler Warren. You like it? Yeah, I do. I don't love your running backs. I don't see Charbonnet. And without Charbonnet, Walker is a big risk. If you have both of them, I like it a little more. But I'm not a big fan of the running back room, to be honest with you. But I love your wide receivers. I love Josh Allen. I think where this can go awry, where this is like a 7 out of 10 instead of an 8 out of 10 type of team, or maybe, I don't want to say lower, but like you're one move away, and that could be a waiver move. It could be you make some really cool trade, and you're the 8.5 out of 10. It's just one move away. But the way you go awry on something like this is you go wide receiver, and then early quarterback. If it's not the exact draft pick in the exact environment where it's all just lined up perfectly, you can do this, but it's risky because you could end up with the running stable like that I don't love. But it's just one move away, or one you get the Bucky Irving of the waiver wire process this year, and you're home run. Starters: Allen, Achane, Chuba. Thank God. Chuba, Puka, Pickens, Hunter, Hawkinson. Like the team, Hollywood. Rate my team out of 10, 12-man league. Allen, Achane, Chuba, Puka, Pickens, Hunter. I would say I'll give it a 7.9. And that's not about, I'm not giving out 9s, really ever. So understand that, again, for you to be the unquestioned best team in your draft without me looking at the other rosters, I can't say that. I could say you're probably top 5 or 6. But you're one move away. What would that move be? I guess the bench, there's not much to trade there. I don't know. I mean, maybe it would be something like you're trading Hawkinson and Chuba to upgrade something, or let's say you were to really like Bo Nix, you're really to like Mahomes, or even a Dak, or a quarterback in that territory, and you were to trade Josh Allen and get an extra like Hendy or something massive. That's something to look at, but I think you're also a waiver move away. Like I said earlier, just one waiver move away. Hold on one second. Mute yourself. I'll be right with you. Just maybe a 2-for-1 trade, but a waiver wire pickup could do the trick as well. Is it crazy? Is it crazy to Achane with the 7th pick in a 14-man league? No. I'm thinking of going him and Brown or Bucky in the 2nd round. I feel stuck at running back this year. I like running back this year. Just make sure your league is conducive, especially in a 14-team league, man. Wide receivers, if this is a 3 wide receiver required league, you probably want a running back, wide receiver, or wide receiver, running back, if best player available will allow it. Because in a 14-man, it could get dry real quick. If it's a 2 wide receiver mandatory and then a bunch of flex spots, then I'm okay with the running back. But Achane at 7 is not a problem. But if Lamb fell there, you better take Lamb. All right, last super chat, then over to Ron Navy, and then we'll circle around the rest of the phone line. Starters are Allen, Achane, Chu. Oh, I already read that one. Professor, thank you for the super chat. Ron Navy, you're live.
Hey, what's up, man?
What up?
Hey, I like. I'm not big on Cook. I really have never been really a big Cook fan. Not saying that he's not talented, but
right. Everybody's talented.
Buffalo. I mean, and part of the reason too is Buffalo for years. And then now they just switched. Last year they were under a new offensive coordinator, and they ran the ball, I think, more effectively than they did in the past. Because of their offensive coordinator, they were more passing. Remember, he got fired, especially after that Miami beat, and so I think that was part of the reason why you saw the difference in the run game last year a little bit. But they were doing it more, maybe not overall more, but they were more efficient.
Yeah.
But the thing with Love is like that guy that we promoted, that we were like very high on. And you're right, he's always injured. And even when he was healthy. It was always you had to wait till the last quarter before he would actually start doing anything.
Excuse master.
Yeah. It's like, and then you had all the talent on the team. You had Christian Watson, who we were all big on. He can't stay healthy. And Reed was the only bright spot except for Wick. Wick had his, but he was just like the rest of the wide receivers and Dobbs. They were underused. They weren't used properly. And I agree with you. I don't see Green Bay finishing maybe just above Chicago this year. I think it's going to be Detroit, Minnesota, and then Green Bay, and then Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm going to change much on this other than maybe bump Green Bay down a game. But I'm going to move I'm still going to keep the Vikings here. I think the Vikings are tough for me because I think they can be good, but everybody came away from J.J. McCarthy film and in the preseason saying he looks so great. I think he looked mixed. It was a mixed bag for me. And I still think this team could be very good, but they're also facing some challenges where Addison's out 3 games. We'll see what happens with JJ. If JJ's cleared, and he's been doing some things in practice that make you think he's okay, but then again, it's like it's different when you're full speed ahead sprinting. A lot of people go, didn't you see him throw that football to that ball boy? It's like, bro, he's throwing a ball. He's not sprinting down the field. And then he jumped up and jumped into somebody and they were celebrating something. And I was like, didn't you see him? He's just running around, just jumping up and smashing into people. It's like that's so different than running full speed and firing off your hamstring. It's like people need to relax. That doesn't prove anything. So if JJ proves to be healthy, then I'm a little bit more on board a 10-win season by a very crafty coaching staff with a very crafty run with what I believe can be an efficient passing attack, but it's not going to be what it once was. Even watching the film on JJ McCarthy again, I watched it over just to make sure I wasn't missing something because I know everybody's so excited and they want to know. And I just wasn't impressed with what he did. He had a nice scramble, but he was overthrowing. He was placing the ball in weird spots, and even though a couple of the catches were made, this is a good player in time. Maybe I think Ron, you said it right the other night. In time, he might be very good, but right now this is still his rookie year. I understand he's got the mental reps from his absent rookie year, but he's not gonna. This does not feel the transition of him being game manager to doesn't have to be gunslinger, but he's in an offense that's going to require him to be at least a Walmart version of a gunslinger, right? So even if he's a dumbed down version of a Kirk Cousins in Minnesota or a Darnold in Minnesota, notice that I say in Minnesota, this is still going to be hard for him to transition and leapfrog from a game manager to that quarterback in his first year. So I think that 9-8 still feels about right. I might move the Packers to 8-9. The Bears, 8 wins might be too many. In fact,
I think so.
That's where I'm going to move this around. I'm going to keep the Bears at 6 wins.
But here's another thing, because we're so involved with the fantasy part of it and everything. And, like best ball where you don't play defenses and all that. But I could say I could see Minnesota winning at least 2 games because of their defense. And Green Bay actually has a pretty good defense too. So, they might win a couple games because of their defense. Not because of their offense, because of their defense.
Yeah. All right, let me fix this.
I mean,
Bears 6 wins. That means I got to give them. I think it's freezing here. I got to give them 11 losses. Okay. Double-digit L's. Bears fans are going to be so upset in the chat.
Unheard of.
Oh, man. You know what I think? Ben Johnson's afraid to play Caleb. I think he is. I think he's afraid to play him. I really do.
Well, we'll see once we start seeing Bajan in there.
Yeah.
And they might win. They might win more than 6 with Bajan in there, not Caleb.
Yeah, that's good. It was so funny. All the delusional Bear fans. We have a couple in the chat, obviously, what all the delusional Bear fans, they just think that they, like the comment, they upgraded everything. Did they? Do you? Because you told us that last year. This is the best situation a rookie QB's ever been handed. Do you realize that your Bear offensive line was in the top 12 ranked walking into the season? Like, now, what happened to it then? Oh, yeah, never mind. It wasn't. Okay, but it is now. And you kind of piecemealed this O-line together. You know, we'll see if some of the scraps of other teams were given away because they're failing parts or not. You know, people are so wild. The Bears' offensive line was not to blame last year. It's so funny how much blame they get. Most of Caleb's sacks were not registered as the offensive line's fault at all. People don't know what they're talking about. Just because Caleb was the most sacked quarterback in the league last year by far does not mean the offensive line was responsible. After a certain number of seconds, the offensive line is off the hook for being responsible for the sack. You have to understand that. Caleb Williams holds onto the ball. Word is there's a lot of rumblings that Ben Johnson's frustrated with Caleb's inability to stay in the structure, because that's all Caleb's known, is to play out of structure. And Ben Johnson doesn't have a system that is designed for that. This is the worst spot for Ben Johnson. I don't know why Ben Johnson picked this spot. It was such a dumb decision for Ben Johnson to go have his first coaching job in this scenario with a QB that doesn't fit what he wants to do at all. Doesn't fit it at all. And there's going to be a point where you have to keep giving Caleb the nod, keep giving Caleb the nod, keep giving Caleb the nod. And then eventually you just have to pull the plug. Like at some point, Caleb, I believe, will be benched this year. You can't believe the Bears hate. To you, like I've always said, it's hate when you don't agree with me. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, I'm hating on the team or the player. But you and your Bears logo with your Caleb Williams, bro.
They could have had JD5.
Yeah, JD5.
What do you think the Bears players? What do you think? What do you think the Bears players? Like, why are we taking Caleb over JD5? And they see the success JD5 has, and they got to be thinking that we could have had JD5 on our team.
I mean, bro, it was
we got this guy. We got Mama Boy.
It was the easiest
Falls
thing
up in his
in the world.
mama's lap.
It was the easiest thing in the world to see, and I felt like, when people say, Smitty, you call JD5, like, I'm proud of it, but I'm also like, it was so obvious. It's like saying, it's like, hey guys, the sun's gonna rise tomorrow, and then it rises, and everybody comes in the chat, Smitty's the GOAT. How do you know the sun was gonna rise? And you're like, you're kind of not proud of yourself. Like, it was so easy to see Caleb was gonna bust. And it was even easier to see that JD5 was going to be a monster. All right.
It's just surprising. And here's another thing I got for you real quick before you go on to a different color. Why is it, you know how Buffalo last year, they projected, they were the best offense, right? The most points and all that, right? So this year when they're projected, how the heck did these pros, are they smoking something or whatever? How do they project San Francisco to be the third best offense?
Because everybody looks at record and the dumb records created by wins and loss, values. It's just so dumb. Yeah, I mean the Niners they have a good record just by looking at the matchups with the eye test, but it doesn't matter. Defenses change from year to year. You might have one defense, looking very bad, but then they start playing better. Keep in mind, remember the Bengals, Super Bowl run with Jamar Chase that rookie year. The Bengals defense was horrible at the beginning of the year, and they got really good, and they were actually pretty solid in the playoffs. It's all schedule based, and it's ridiculous. All right, let me go.
But the thing is Smitty, you always keep things on point, and we have our disagreements and stuff, but you're always on point with everything, and pretty much everything you say. I mean, I could say even though we disagree and argue sometimes, it always makes sense. Mm-hmm. But like you got content creators out there that are taking this information and telling people you want players from this team, and San Francisco's projected to have the third best offense and this and that, and they're telling people to target these players. They're not going to do nothing.
Yeah, that's great news. It's always the best news you ever hear, because then it means that, you know, because it's like when we go into a draft with each other, we snipe each other. We all want the same players, but you got people talking about Ricky Parasol being a top 15 wide receiver. You got people talking about Christian McCaffrey being healthy all year. You got to talk about people, you know, it's going to be unfortunate. This will be one of those years where Niner fans say, poor us, bad luck us. But why is every running back but Christian McCaffrey, who's long-term injured and will be, why is every running back hurt? Why do they keep getting hurt? Why doesn't anybody look into this? It's not bad luck. It's not. Somebody in my comments said, on one of my videos yesterday, said, I know why the Niner running backs are always hurt. They always run and train harder and run faster and stronger and give 110%. And like, yeah, 31 other teams don't have running backs to give 110%. Like, it's delusion. It's delusion. Why no one's looking into why Niner players are always getting hurt is beyond me. And for anybody that thinks I'm being a hater, I went live with Raj, RSF 49ers, the biggest Instagram and Niner community. And he's a rah, Raj, for the Niners. He's the biggest supporter. He's always going to dress things up because he's, you know, fan-oriented, right? That things are great. Things will be good. Raj, last night and many times before when we talked about this specific topic, he's like, I don't know. He's like, the stretching. They don't stretch. The Niners don't stretch. During the game, the Broncos, and Raj was there, and Raj has said that the Broncos came out and they stretched like bandits. They were stretching forever. Mm-hmm. And the Niners come out and they just kind of swing their hands around, lean over a couple times. The Niners don't stretch. Their training staff is probably a majority of the reason why they're getting injured. Nobody looks into it. No one sees it as a repetitive pattern or problem, and they just keep letting it happen. And then you mix that with the scheme and all the movements and all the pulls and how, the mismatches where running backs and tight ends are blocking linebackers, and there's all kinds of movement. There's never an appropriate, pairing of player. And so that causes wear and tear, mixed with not stretching, mixed with maybe just bad trainers in general. And you have the most injury-prone organization in the NFL. And no one looks into it. No one cares to discuss it. No one cares to figure it out. It's wild. And Roger's even up in arms about it. The biggest Niner creator out there is like, they don't stretch. And no one's doing anything about it. He's like, I've been to several. I mean, Raj goes to a lot of games. He's been to several games lately where he's like, I'm watching them run out onto the field and they do a little stretch here and there, but the Broncos were stretching for like a half hour, 45 minutes. It's crazy. All right, let me go to the other phone caller who's been waiting.
I saw you go live with them last night.
Yeah. 484, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Jay Wild. I'm calling from Philadelphia.
What's up? What can I do for you?
Is it cool if I ask you to rank 4 receivers for me, disregarding their ADP?
Sure. And you said what was your name? 484 and then where? And your name?
Jay Wild from Philly.
Jay Wild?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Redraft and PPR, by the way.
So no consideration for Wilson. ADP. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson, JSN, Ladd, and Devontae Adams.
This is hard because, I know everyone wants to say Ladd, and I will say that's the safest player. It really is. Okay. But Garrett Wilson, I think, and this is a hard conversation to have because, like, I have to put my 2 cents in about the ADPs because it's like I'd rather have Garrett Wilson in the round later and take the Bucky, the Chase Brown, because those running backs are going where Ladd's going. I could get Bucky or Chase Brown, almost guaranteed one of the two, or at least Kyron guaranteed one of those 3. And then because I like Garrett Wilson so much and it's close, there's no way I'm passing on that. Now, JSN, I will say, climbs right up to tie Garrett Wilson once Milroe is in the lineup. And there's because there's some risks that maybe they don't have a good rapport or whatever that makes this easy to call this, a probable 2 tie with Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson or JSN in a later round, a round later, and then Ladd I'm passing on because I want Bucky. And now Adams, this is you couldn't pick 4 more complicated wide receivers to do this with. Adams is 32 years old. It's hard to imagine, in my opinion, him staying healthy all year. However, if he does, and he's the Derrick Henry, he's the one wide receiver that I would say don't count it out. He's such a technician of route running, and just such a good player that even if he lost a step, I think he's still such a good route runner that he still figures it. I would say that Adams, if you're willing to risk it, could be the number 1 overall player on this group of 4. It's just he holds the most risk by far. So it's kind of like this is a really hard question to answer without. I don't even like if I was on the clock, bro.
I give you. You want?
Hold on. Let me just finish my point. If I was on the clock and I had to make this decision, I would not make it fast. It would take. I'd be saying, "Hey, Steve, make your pick." Getting all over people's cases for taking forever. And then when I got on the clock, I'd wait 20 minutes making this decision. So I just want to make it clear that I don't even really know at a glance because it would take me 20 minutes to decide. Because Adams could be the 1 or he could be the 4. It just depends on what kind of risk level you're taking. How big of a league is it? Is it 10? Because then I'm going to have an extra wide receiver like Ibuka that I shouldn't have or whatever the case may be. And so I'll feel really good about taking that risk on Adams because I have so much depth. But if it's a 14-team league, then it's even harder to take that gamble. So there's so many things that go into place. Like, these are all very, very close. And that's why you listed them. But they're really close. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Because I'm the second pick, right, in a 10-team league. So, like, first pick, I'm probably going to take Bijan. At second round, I'm pretty sure, like, Bucky's going to fall to me. So I'm either taking him or Drake London. And then, like, third round, like, if I go double receiver, like, double running back, I want to get a receiver. And third round, that's kind of like the guys that are available in the mock draft. Like, fourth round, I think I could snipe Rashee Rice in fourth round. But, like, third round, I want to get another receiver.
If it were me.
So these are the guys.
If it were me, the way I would probably really quickly analyze this is I would say, God, as hard as this is to say, because I know how much you guys love Ladd, and I'm not trying to disrespect him here. He's right there. I'm struggling to answer. I have a feeling Garrett Wilson is going to have a year, and I don't think that's crazy to say. But Fields is getting a lot of hate right now because he's looked shaky in practice, but then he has nice touchdown run in his game, and then he has a nice practice today where he throws a laser toss to I forget who caught it, but they're just talking him up today all day long how good he played college football with Garrett Wilson. They were teammates, so the rapport is there. I think Garrett Wilson's gonna be top 5 in the league in receptions because there'll be he's just gonna saturate him. I will probably lean Garrett Wilson, but that's outside the norm. So many people are going to tell you Ladd. The one thing I'll tell you about Ladd, though, and I know Ladd's been uncoverable and camp says Harbaugh, but Harbaugh pumps up everybody for number 1. Number 2, very interesting stat. Ladd McConkey was a top 12 wide receiver. I believe it was 2 or 3 times last year. I believe 2. I'm not trying to take anything away from Ladd. I'm just merely trying to point out that like he had 190 yards or something in the playoff game, and a lot of people are just kind of using that game to maybe paint a little bit of a picture about what their expectation is for him. Let me pull it up real quickly and just see from last year. So he was wide receiver 2 in week 8. He was wide receiver 9 in week 13, and he was wide receiver 6 in week 17. So 3 times. So 3 times he was a top 12 wide receiver. That's it.
Damn, okay.
I mean that's just just kind of an interesting thing that you wouldn't expect because of the fact that he's going around 2. people putting Ladd in the round number 2. Mute yourself real quickly. I'll be right with you. Putting Ladd in round number 2.
Round 4, like getting Rashi Rice. So like I'm only got one chance to get like one of those receivers. So I can only pick one. Like, cause they're all gonna be gone by the,
all right, my boy.
round 4.
All right, we'll see you later.
All right, well, thank you, bro.
Yeah. Let's go to BBQ. You have anything else real quickly before I go to the other caller? Or you've been holding for a while.
Oh yeah. So a couple things. So
I'll be right
I
with you.
think Ben Johnson's sideline cam when Caleb turns back into a pumpkin and starts scrambling around to be a fantasy category itself. And as far as the Packers go, I mean, I agree with Ron and you on Jordan Love. It's like I really want to like this guy. But when it comes to the Packers, I feel for fantasy purposes, it's like the jack of all trades and the masters of none. They just seem to have so many weapons and options, and they just spread it around so much. And Jordan Love just does not give you that comfortable feeling like he's going to stay healthy for the whole season. So big red flag there. I will say where I differ with you is that I actually do like Matthew Golden. Growing up here in Texas and being a Austin guy, I've watched this guy grow as a receiver, and I think he needs, some more time. But he got better as the season went on at UT. He's really good route separation. I think the speed thing's overrated, but he's got good hands. I like him as a receiver. I just think long term he's a good call, but I don't see him like for the first.
I don't hate the long term outlook. Like, let's wait and see. But people are trying to wield the BTJ Neighbors Lab McConkey rookie season expectation, pull that out of the hat, and I don't think he's going to do that. So it's not that I don't like him, but it's that I think that the combination of he's not ready to be the player people want him to be, and the Packers are not ready to enable a player to be that anyway. And as Ron said, yeah, it's like you just can't. You become a Love apologist after a little while. It's like excuse after excuse. Is it, he hits his hand. This is not the first time he's hurt his hand, throwing his hand around, but he's been hurt quite a bit. Some players just can't stay healthy. AR5 is one of them. I mean, the guy goes out in the first play. Like there's just some players, and especially quarterbacks, could do that. They just can't stay healthy. And maybe he will this year, but I just don't believe in him. And again, it's not that. This is one of those things where even if I'm wrong, I'm not going to care. Even if I'm wrong, like someone says, Smitty, you're telling people some bad advice. No, I'm not. Because even if he ends up doing well, the player you're drafting instead of Love is going to do just as well, if not better than Love, even when I'm wrong. And the player you drafted instead of Matthew Golden, at least this year, I'm not disagreeing with that there's an open, book of what he can become. I mean, look at Bucky as a perfect example. Always have to remind yourself, myself, everyone's self, that Bucky was good. Just like Matthew Golden was good, Bucky became something different when he stepped into the NFL. It was not telegraphed exactly what he would be. Same thing with Kyron. Even though I loved Kyron as a rookie, I did. And then he disappointed. He got injured. But there are a lot of players. And then you always could throw around Kurt Warner, Tom Brady, Aaron Foster. All those guys. Priest Holmes to a degree, just because he was so undervalued. Like, nobody knew what these players were going to really be until they got into the league. There was no telegraphing of it. So you always got to keep in mind, Matthew Golden could be the league's best receiver down the road if he just developed in a weird, strange way that you can't predict or see. So I'm always open-minded to somebody becoming something different. Not so much once you've seen him. Like if anybody's gonna be like, well, what about Caleb? No, we've already seen Caleb. We already know what that is. But in terms of Matthew Golden, we don't know what he is. Example would be Tootin. We like Tootin a lot. We worry about his fumbles. Taka Bigsby. ETN starts week 1 of the preseason. Now Tootin's kind of an afterthought. But we like Tootin, just like we liked Bigsby. But Tootin, when he gets in the league here and he starts games and he starts maturing, there's a chance that Tootin becomes a top 5 running back. We just don't know yet. We don't have that information yet. So I will give you that on Golden. The open book is still there for anybody. But as a rookie, I don't see it personally, because of all the other external factors that are out of the control of Matthew Golden to begin with. And I just think he's a little bit raw and green to be coming in and doing what people are expecting him to do. Be BTJ, be Lad McConkey, be Malik Neighbors. And because they missed out on Igbuka, because they missed out on Ted McMillan, they're trying to say, well, hold on, there might be one more, right? I don't think so. I think if it is, it's one of the other.
They've been trying to find a wide receiver one, and they drafted Golden to be the wide receiver one, and I just don't think he's going to be ready day one.
No.
It's going to take time for him to get in that role, in my opinion.
And I like him, BBQ. I do, like if he was drafted in the right spot. But the reason I sound like such a anti-Matthew Golden person is because they're setting him up to fail. And not to fail long term, but to fail on the expectation of that you took him in round one. He was not really a round one grade wide receiver. His metrics, his stats, the volume, the numbers, none of it really catered to being a first round pick. And I just think that had the expectation been lower, then it wouldn't be as big of a thing for me. And then people would be like, yeah, I like him, and that's fine. I'd be okay with it. But it's, this is a team that hasn't drafted a wide receiver in 2 decades. And it's like asking the guy that's at the bar that's been, going a little too crazy. And you're like, are you good to drive? And he's like, yeah. You're asking the worst person if they're good. You're asking the worst team for this situation to make this call. They don't know. Hey, good job. This is the first time they've drafted a wide receiver in 2 decades. There has to be a good player, right? No, this actually would be the worst example to trust because this team hasn't done it for 20 years. They're going to be rusty. But I don't know. I know you like him. I don't hate him. I like some of his skill set for sure. But we'll see how it goes.
I mean, I saw him at UVH, and he was not good. And then when he transferred to UT, he took a big step up. And then this second half of his last year at UT, he just really came into his own.
I think Isaiah Bond's better.
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Bond is really good. And I think the jury's still out on him. Not
literally
legal case, but
literally. Look, but, Isaiah Bond to me was a much better receiver, just to me. And it's cool to disagree. We won't always agree, but we'll never see that apparently, and that sucks for Isaiah Bond.
BBQ.
Yep.
You kind of said it yourself earlier when you first started talking. Green Bay Packers have so many weapons, and it's not whether Golden will be good, but it's the opportunities that it'll get. If you look at last year, how many times do we I like Dobbs. I think Dobbs is a great wide receiver, but one week he'll be great, but then the next week he doesn't show up, and it's Wick for that week, or it's Reed for that week. It always switches. There's no consistency with that. And so if that trend continues, that could hurt Golden also of showing, because I mean, that's my opinion on it.
And if you can't make Reed,
many weapons.
If you can't make Reed consistent, you're probably just not a team that can make, someone consistent. But maybe that changes. We'll have to see. But, you got to stay healthy, number one. If Love went down again, because he feels like AR5 injury-wise right now, he just does, then what then? I do actually like their backup a lot, but we'll see what happens. Maybe maybe Malik will connect with Golden differently, in a better way. I kind of always liked Malik Willis. I really like him for some reason. I think he could be pretty good. All right, hold on one second. Let me answer this. We're chatting over to the phone line. Nix, HN, K9, Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, Lab McConkey. Sorry for the delay. Are you still here? Hunter on the bench. Should I trade this guy, Nix and Lad, for Worthy and Josh Allen? Man, if that's a super flex, which I don't think it is because you didn't say, and I don't see 2 QBs listed, which people normally do. I think Worthy's grossly undervalued. I still believe, Worthy was the second best receiver in the league if you take his last 5 games. And this includes 3 playoff games, one of which he didn't do much in at all. So I'm not cherry picking. You take The not super flex. Thanks for waiting, by the way. You take his 3 playoff games, which one he didn't do much in, which pulls this down too, this average, and then his 2 last played regular season games. It's 5 games. It's not the biggest sample in the world. This is kind of like, dangerous math. But you divide that by 5 and then extrapolate it across 17. That number would be wide receiver 2. So when people say Worthy wasn't consistent, he was. He wasn't in the middle part when he was learning and they were getting him in his role. Worthy's going to be one of the most dangerous players in the league this year, even if they do turn to Rice, more when Rice is back. Worthy's a weapon. He's the definition of a weapon. He could run 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns in this year, have 250 rushing yards. Let's say he gets 1050 receiving. He could still have 8 receiving touchdowns. I think at the end of the day, given Ladd McConkey's, you're competing with Keenan Allen, you got Harris, you got Lambert Smith, you got, Quentin Johnson's not doing much, but you got a lot of mouths to feed in an offense that is going to run more this year than they did last year because J.K. Dobbins was so bad, averaging 3.8 yards per carry from his 3rd game on the entire year. J.K. was one of the worst running backs in the league. And even though people think he wasn't, they don't know the data. Data Donnies, data crunching Donnies don't even know the data. I believe that the difference between Josh Allen, even though I love Knicks, the difference between Josh Allen and Knicks is worth this trade. I would take Worthy and Josh Allen. Chat, what would you say on that? Let's see what everybody says. And anybody that's looking at the sum total and talking about Worthy's inconsistent start, you're not realizing he was a rookie. You're not realizing that once he got into his groove, he was top 10 in the league for sure, but extrapolating that 5 games, it was fantastic. I'd take Josh Allen and Worthy and do it live. Thank you. Media, what's up, my man? Media in the building. 49er Media. He's a big Niner fan. Big Niner fan. You missed our Niner rant. Thank you. Good team. Love your squad. Let me go over to the phone line. I got a caller that's been waiting patiently. Thank you so much for waiting. What is your name and where are you calling from? 940.
Hey, what's up, Smitty? This is T-Bone. How are you, man?
T-Bone, where are you calling from?
Dallas.
What's
Sorry
up, my
about
man?
that.
What can I do for you?
Man, nothing much. So I'm still pondering that 1.1 pick, 12-man double flex PPR. I know that you've been saying that you've been going running back.
PBQ. Yeah.
Whenever you've been doing that at the receiver spot, I'm pretty sure you're just kind of going from upside there, right? And I know that it's hard to predict just because you got to let the draft come to you, but I just been mocking it. And it seems like the best receiver I'm kind of getting right there at that 4 spot is Ridley. And then I'm going
Ridley in the 4th round? No, bro.
That's what I've been getting.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know why you're getting that. Hold on, let me merge this call. Mute yourself real quickly. I'll be right with you. You shouldn't be getting that. You say that like it's, it's kind of what the data has been showing you or something. You shouldn't be getting Ridley in the 4th round. Ridley's got good upside, but Ridley does not belong in the 4th round. How many man league is this? 12, you said?
12. Yeah.
Ridley's nowhere near the 4th round. So I would say that in the 4th round, if you went you're talking about running back, or just running back?
No, running back.
Okay. So if you were to go running back, and it's a 12-man, yeah, you're going to be hard-pressed to get a Garrett Wilson. You're going to be hard-pressed to get a MHJ. You're going to be hard-pressed to get players like that. I would venture to say your only solid choice for doing this is in a 10-man. In a 10-man, you can easily pull it off. In a 10-man, I even Smitty plays in a 10-man. I got my long-term buddy league. 2 people dropped out. We've never filled it. We just kind of kept it. I like playing in the 1 10-man. I like playing in 12-man leagues. But my longest league that's been 20, well, most of the guys have been together for 20 plus years. 2 different leagues kind of merged. But I like playing in that 1 10-man league. It's just fun. It's fun to have one of them, and it's buddies, and it's people you know for 20 years. This draft, I went one of the most unbelievable teams I've ever assembled in a 10-man. I went running back, and wide receiver. And this is a 10-man league. I got Garrett Wilson in this spot here, in this 5th spot. Now, granted, I had a top of round 5 pick, but I got Garrett Wilson. I got Hendy in the 4th round. I took Kyron in the 3rd round. And yes, these people have corpses and pulses. I took Bucky in round 2. And I took Bajan in round 1. Because I had the 2 pick. So I took Bajan, Bucky, Kyron. Bucky, Kyron at the 2-3 turn from the 2 pick. And then Hendy, Garrett Wilson once it came back. So, like, if in a 10-man league, you can do this. In a 12-man league, it's going to be harder. Although you could say, well, then couldn't I at least get Garrett Wilson in this pick? If it's maybe you could get him in the 4th pick. Maybe. It just depends, man. JSN might fall in a 10, but that's a 10-man. So in a 12-man, I don't know. If I were you, I would go running back, wide receiver if you can. If best player available allows it. No, it's not a super flex.
Gotcha. And would I be crazy? Because I've been doing that, right? And the only receivers that is typically there is like your Higgins, Hill, McConkey, Devontae, JSN, and Terry. And I always would prefer Garrett Wilson right there. I know it's a reach, but I just know that he probably won't come back to me.
Mm-hmm. Look, that's the hard dilemma people have when they draft every day is, what do I do? Like, it's not easy, bro. And you got to go down a blind road and then see what opens up. But if you stick to the best player available process, you shouldn't walk out of your league hating your team. You might walk out going, I've got a big hole in the boat on the right side, but everything else is glorious, man. I knocked it out of the park. And guess what you do all year? You work on filling that hole with waiver wire acquisitions. And if you do, you win the league. I used to do draft calls where someone would, pay to do an hour draft call with me. I don't have time for that stuff anymore. I occasionally do one here and there, but just for fun. But I can't tell you how many times I helped someone draft a monster team. And before the draft, and people would always be like, whatever you want to do. I'm like, it's not my team, it's your team. But they want me to draft it for them or whatever. But we draft the team, and beforehand I'd say, you sure you can stomach going best player available no matter what? And if we have a wide receiver 2 vacancy void, like the kind of void that you're like, someone pisses their pants over, you're okay with that. You don't have the anxiety on this kind of thing. And oh no, we're good, Smitty. And it never fails. Like 5 times out of 10, maybe 6, the person goes into panic mode and they just go crazy. They just go absolutely nuts, and they trade away their entire team. They come back to me and they show me this garbage team, just so they can sleep at night. And they created 8 voids instead of 1. So just stick to best player available, and you should be fine no matter what, because you're drafting someone that you believe can hit a home run from that draft selection every time you're on the clock, and you're not falling victim to position of need and drafting someone that you don't like and compromising the value.
Gotcha. Thank you. Because I was like, man, that running back, those 3 running backs, like that's ideal. But man, I'm really betting hard on filling that hole at receiver.
Well, I'll tell you this though. I'll tell you this though. If you get Rashee Rice, Igbuka, Deebo Samuel, Marvin Mims, like, you'll be okay. If you went running back, and it was worth it. Like, you go running back, and James Cook's your 3rd running back, then you screwed it all up. If you go running back, and Kyron falls, then it's worth doing it. But if you do it with the wrong 3rd running back, I'm gonna make you take a lap as long as you've ever seen and be like, why'd you do it then? It's got to be the best player available.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Yeah, maybe that's going to be Hampton. But, yeah, thank you, sir.
All right, later, bro. Charles, you're live, and then back over to Ron Navy. BBQ hung up. BBQ, see you later. Call in again if you need it. Need anything, and appreciate you. Go ahead, Charles. Or if that's your dad, then I'm talking to you.
Yeah, no, I'm not Charles. I'm Steve, but Charles is my dad.
Yes, okay.
My middle name is Charles. I'm glad I got you.
Go ahead, Charles. Steve.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I love when I call you. When you know your dad's name's Charles. This happens on the phone. This happens on the phone line a lot. And I'm like, go ahead, Charles. It's like, imagine if your mom's name was Maggie May. And I'm like, okay, Maggie May, you're on the line, and it's like, it's not me.
I'm driving a UPS truck. Sorry, dude. It's like patting my head and
bro,
rubbing
you
my
don't
stomach at the same time.
you don't have to apologize. I'm just joking with you.
It's all good.
Hey,
I'm glad I got on there.
yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Your name was again though, Steve. You said Steve, right?
Steve.
410 Steve. Where are you calling from? Where's 410?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, Baltimore. What can I do for you?
Quick question, and I'm in one of those leagues, those 10-man leagues for 18 years. I've been in it. I think it's been around for 20, so I'm one of the
it's fun
one of the old heads.
Yeah,
I love it. PPR. So in years past, I've always been a firm believer in setting the running backs up first before I worry about the wide receivers. But this year, I don't know, man. I'm seeing with all these rookie running backs, I'm just having a hard time. I'm doing mocks, and I'm like, I don't really know. Like 1 minute I'm ready to grab Saquon because I got the 5 spot. I'm picking the 5, so I know that Chase and Bijan will be gone, and I don't like saying his name like that. And so I keep on getting to a situation where CeeDee Lamb's looking at me. I'm like, but I feel like I'm doing something wrong taking a wide receiver with that first pick.
Yeah, but again, keep in mind that this is how I just started in a 10-man league. From the 2 spot, Bijan, Bucky, Kyron, and I still got Hendy. I was still able to dabble in the rookie running back game. So don't think you have to go the rookie running back. You know, what if you do that and the rookie running backs get taken? And you're like, somebody else has the same idea. So just take again. You're not listening to what I was recommending to go best player available. If you believe Lamb's the best player available, or if you believe Bijan's the best player available, go with that player. Don't not take a player because you're worried about what round 4 and 5 are going to do for you. You know, like you do got to think about, like, if you go running back, will wide receiver be there in 3? There is some, you know, kinds of trying to stay 2 moves ahead to figure out what the depth will look like. But you're telling me, you know, Hendy in round 5 and Harvey in round 6 and all these other guys, you can't be making decisions on what you do in rounds 1 and 2 for things that are that far downstream, or you're going to be not drafting the best player available. So be very, very careful. But in a running back hungry environment, Bijan Robinson is the way to go for me. Or Gibbs.
Yeah, well, he'll be gone. So for me, I'm looking at – so what do you think about Saquon this year? You'd pass up on Saquon and take Genty over Saquon at 5?
I would. I if you don't want to go Genty because you're falling, you know. But yeah, I'm not taking Saquon. I'll take him in best ball, but I'm not taking him in any sort of, you know, home league where everything's on the line. If you want to take him, I understand. I'm just not doing it. Now, if you're scared of Genty's 3 carries, which is so ridiculous.
That was the best radio I've heard in years. I was laughing my ass off. It was driving you nuts, but dude, it was amazing.
It was crazy.
So enjoyable.
It's crazy how people are so wild. Bro, you think that's bad? Just wait until week 1. If someone like Harvey or Hunter or Kyron or anybody has like 40 yards, just wait. All these people that act like they're all Kyroned up, they're gonna come in and just wet their pants and be like, "What do we do with them? Do we get rid of? I told you Hunter was bad. He had 40 yards. What do you think now, Smitty?"
Let me ask you this, and then I'm going to get out of you. I'm going to get back to work. But here's my question for you. Let's say Bijan is gone, Chase is gone, Lamb is gone, and Gibbs is gone. You're on the clock. Who do you take?
Okay, that's what I'm putting on the board here. I know you're not watching, but Genty, H-Ham, Bucky, Bucky's more of a second rounder, and he's a steal. I have no problem with someone if they wanted to waver, not on the 3 carries, but they truly do not believe in the Raiders team, the offense. If that's the way you feel anyway, not because of 3 carries. He didn't even play all 3 carries weren't even with Geno on the field. Like, people are out of their mind. But if you do not like the Raiders,
you don't know if Geno's gonna be the starter, right?
Yeah. but A-Chan is a very good pick. But he's got his own risks too with his offense. His offense is good now, but what if it crumbles? So I would say
if Tua gets hurt though, like
I would
if
say
you look at
Jetty.
his numbers when Tua ain't on the field.
Well,
yeah, dude, I got no problem taking Genty.
All right.
You got me to take Bijan last year in his rookie year.
All right, my boy. Go back to work. Later, bro.
All right, bro. Yeah, thanks.
All right, Ron Navy, final thoughts. And then I got to go, and then I'll be back later. It's already noon.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. The one guy that called in was asking you to rank those 4 receivers. And then he started talking about every single round the player that he was going to take. I was waiting for you to say, hey, listen, don't, like, what if the player's not there? You know, take the best player available.
Yeah.
He was like went right down round by round what player he was targeting every single round.
I mean, I said it all show. You know, how many times can you, I should just have a button I can press. The button goes, please stand by for description of best player available.
Right.
All right. Anything else, Ron? We'll be back though, I'm sure. Any news?
Yeah, tonight.
Well, tonight for sure, but I don't know.
No news. I mean, only just wait to see. And it really doesn't. I mean, you don't care. I mean, as far as Pittsburgh's situation goes, but
we'll be.
I know they wanted Dobbs, but because Reed got hurt, that the news is that Green Bay's not going to get rid of Dobbs, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. By the way,
Dobbs could have worked out good for Pittsburgh.
2 pieces of news here that we'll probably address again at 8 p.m. Obviously, Travis Hunter listed as the first string wide receiver and second string cornerback on the official depth chart again. Like they redo it, but it's the unofficial depth chart, just so everybody knows. And then Rashee Rice is just looking unstoppable in practices, so there's that. But probably facing a 2 to 6 game suspension. So it does make it difficult to pinpoint where's the right place to draft him. But just everybody needs to know he looks unstoppable. I'm watching footage of him right now. Here's just one particular play, but he looks absolutely unstoppable. He's powerful. He's quick. His start-stop game is insane. His hands are remarkable. His spatial awareness, how to manipulate and use his body to make sure, like when he's catching the ball, he's using his body to like block the defender. He's just such a veteran. Such a veteran. All right, I got to roll. Ron, I'll see you later.
What are you expecting out of Pacheco really quick? Are you expecting anything out of Pacheco?
I would say
we haven't talked much about him.
I would say that you just got to cuff him to Brashard Smith and you'll be okay. But I don't know that you're going to get a full season out of him, but he'll be pretty good when he plays. I'll say that. And then I want Brashard Smith. The combo is great. The combo is a really crafty running back 3. All right, later, Ron.
All right, later.
All right, Keith, you got 10 seconds because the phone lines are closed. Go ahead, real quick. You're live.
My bad, Smitty.
No problem.
I'm in a Dynasty League. I gave up a 2027 second round for Woody Marks. How did I do?
Sure. I mean, did you overpay? Probably because people don't even, he's a waiver wire guy, but I don't care. I like it. Second rounder. He's a good player. I love Woody Marks. League winner, potentially. Not guaranteed, but potentially.
Oh, man.
All right, later, bro.
You're awesome, Smitty. Thanks.
Thank you. Viral says, do I reach on Hendy and take Hunter in 5? 4 and 5, sure. But it really depends, Viral, who's available. Like, I can't tell you yes no matter what. What if you're leaving a stud on the board? Smitty, if I can't get Rice around 4, who would you like? Burrow, Worthy, K9, Sutton, Pickens? Probably Burrow. I love the Burrow value there. But if it's 4 point per TD pass instead of 6, let's say, I think you could consider Worthy. I really do still love Worthy. But I would probably go, personally, I would go Burrow in a home league. In best ball, I might punt that because of how far Mahomes and Knicks fall. But Mahomes in this league that I'm in right now that I was telling you about, my league where I went running back, Garrett Wilson as my fifth. Running back, and then my 5th round pick, top of round 5, Garrett Wilson in a 10-man home league. That one, Mahomes went. I mean, it's crazy. Let me see where Mahomes went. Mahomes went at pick 4.4. Joe Burrow went 4.5. Baker Mayfield went 6.1. It's 1 QB. So I'm waiting on a QB just because they're flying off the board. Tig, appreciate your super chat, $10 hauler. Dynasty thoughts. May love Daniel Jones. May love Daniel Jones. No, I will not love Daniel Jones. I won't. That's not even a possibility. May love Daniel Jones. Ridley, Leonard, Stenson Bennett, Lamb, BTJ. Love the receivers. Ibuka's a top 12 wide receiver. Higgins, Royals, Felton, Harvey, Swift, Sharps, Bigsby, Keaton, Giddens, Kelsey, Arroyo. Yeah, I like it. I mean, your receivers are off the hook. Your running backs are I obviously love Harvey, but I don't know how I feel about Swift, and Sharps and Bigsby aren't guarantees. Either is Keith Mitchell, so you're kind of like waiting for an injury or a weird opportunity that we believe could happen with one of those guys. So I would say in your quarterbacks, I like Drake May, but without that firepower, you really are a BTJ, Lamb, DK, Buka team, and Harvey, and you're just waiting for something. But I can't give this an 8 out of 10 or anything until you get that extra player to step up, like Bigsby or Swift or Charbonnet or Keaton Mitchell or Giddens or a waiver wire player. Like, you need an additional Harvey in order for me to give you an 8. And I'm assuming it's 1 QB. I would contemplate. You want my honest opinion? I would contemplate trading BTJ for like a Rice and a Hendy, or a Rice and a Kyron, or something like that, personally. But you got to go get an elite wide receiver that you quietly like London, and you could trade Swift and BTJ for like a London and a Hendy, or London and a Hampton, or London and a Kyron. And then all of a sudden you've taken that downgrade of BTJ into a player I almost still love just as much. So, and it's tough for people to do that because they think, oh, I can't trade B. Yeah, you can't. You can trade anybody. Thoughts on Puka with Stafford injury? Should I trade him now or hold him? I mean, I've always been a trade Puka high, especially in Dynasty. And I'm certainly not an investor this year. So, of course, I would trade him. Now, Stafford's injury, his back, it's not even like an injury. It's his back. Like, it's kind of like saying, you can't say, like, that's what his back is. His back, it's not an injury. It's a bad back that's not going to get necessarily better, and hopefully it doesn't get worse, but he can manage it right now, and it'll get slowly worse and worse and worse. But it's not like he injured himself to the point where it's like a new injury. It's like his back is just as bad. He's got a disc problem. He's got a problem in his lower back. He went out and threw 60 passes, unlimited, and then he's taking 2 days off, and people are drawing a lot of conclusions. It's going to be kind of weird if he shows up tomorrow and just looks normal and everyone's making a big stink out of it. And I know they want to make a big stink out of it, and there's a chance that it could, subside and then come back in week 4. But no matter what, I want to get rid of Puka because his value is never going to be higher, and you can go get a London who I like better this year anyway. Trade Puka for London and maybe get more. You know, I would do that. Thank you to all my super chatters. Appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to get on over to the Patreon. Let's see here. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Live whenever news breaks. Live at midnight Eastern every single midnight. Almost every single midnight. Patreon, link in description. It's my 365 24/7 chat group. So do it live. Want to join the chat? Here is the Patreon link. Join my Patreon. Hold on, let me grab this. Join my Patreon. If I can get it to paste. There it is. 24/7 live chat group. We're in there talking right now. We're in there talking 5 minutes from now. I'll jump over there in a minute and have a conversation with all my Patreon members. I just dropped the link in the live chat. I'll see you all at 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, I'm live whenever big news breaks. That's what this show is right here. This exact show was a breaking news show. I'm additionally live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm additionally live almost every single midnight. I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. And we'll have more news later.